if you don't know what's involved, it's very easy to get the wool pulled over your eyes. Someone was charging or pitching a $10,000 package to have a one-page website and your Facebook page set up. Do you know how many people ran to the back of the room? If you don't know, you can get caught out. I know people that have paid freelancers $200 to have a Metapixel installed on their site. Like, that's a $5 job. So if you don't know what you're asking for, you can really, really have your wallet emptied. Welcome to another episode of Business Growth Lab. You're here with Sam and Leon for another episode in the new studio. Great to have you here. So the topic that we're going to break down is, would you choose a done-for-you service provider or would you choose coaching? Where would you invest the money if you're wanting to grow, if you're wanting to scale? And the answer isn't just I would choose one or the other, and we're going to break down why.
Yeah, it's not particularly black and white, but we have some good things we're going to go through today. So
absolutely,
I'm looking forward to getting into that.
Yeah, and lots of little stories along the way with things that we've seen out in the wild.
Yeah. Actually, so many stories.
Oh my God. Actually, too many stories to share in this episode.
Yes.
But let's start off with done for you services. So what we're talking about here is a service provider that you would hire for a specific task or project, and you would pay them money in return for having that implemented.
Yeah.
I guess is that the best way?
Look, we'll get into coaching a bit later on. But we've done for you, I think it's particularly note that it is a particular job or task. Like it's very specific.
Yes.
In its nature.
Yeah, absolutely. Big fan of done for you because it helps you buy back your time. It means that someone else is doing the task. But let's start off with the...
Should we go pros?
All right, let's go pros. Okay, let's go pros. I was going to start off with the bad, but let's do the good. No, let's start off with the good. So what would you say is one of the first pros of done for you?
I think the biggest thing is you're tapping into an expert's knowledge.
Yeah.
Which I think is the biggest thing. So
yes,
they've done their 10,000 hours or whatever.
Well, you'd hope so.
Well, hopefully.
Well, not everyone has. Actually, let me rephrase that because everyone has a first day.
Yeah.
So I don't want people to hold themselves back if they haven't done the 10,000 hours. But even if they haven't, they've got a knowledge that we would want that person to be like continually staying up to date in the knowledge of what's happening in whatever that area is, whether it's websites or AI or...
Well, yeah, so we're particularly online at the moment. We have had bricks and mortar businesses, but I do know in this space, with AI as well, everything moves and changes really fast now.
Yeah, like within the minute, just about, like literally.
Sorry, that was different yesterday.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah. So, you want someone that's an expert in whatever that niche is, that specificity, I guess, and so you're tapping into that knowledge and expertise.
Yeah. And hopefully that's with the idea of moving faster and getting jobs done quickly.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And well.
Yes.
Probably the other pro is you don't have to go and do it yourself, which is what you were talking about before.
Yes.
Where, you can buy back your time.
Yeah.
Which is a big thing. That's a big deal.
It's a huge deal when you're scaling because you can't be everywhere all of the time. You just can't be around everything. If you want to move at there's a couple of things here. Number one, if you want to move at speed, you need other people to help. But number two, if you're trying to build a business for freedom, which I can pretty much guarantee 100% of us are, because even if there's someone like Elon Musk that, like totally loves to be in the business, he's still off doing another project, right? So we're buying back our freedom, so we've got more choice of how we spend our time. And if we don't have other people implementing in our business or taking over different parts of our business, then we can't do that. We are the business. So it's really important that you do have implementers.
Yeah.
Whether they're freelancers, whether they're part of your team, in whatever capacity. So essentially here we're talking about freelancers and agencies.
Yeah. I was just thinking though as well as when you're saying that it's that part of getting through the messy middle that you talk about.
Yeah.
This particular piece of it can actually help you do that and buy back your time. So that is something to think about as well. So
Yeah,
that is also a good point.
absolutely.
What would you say one of the cons is?
One of the major cons that I've seen happen in a bad way with people over the years is not understanding what it is that they're asking someone else to do, which means that they don't know how much to invest.
Yeah.
So if you don't have an understanding of what the task or the project involves, you can really have the wool pulled over your
Oh, I
eyes.
can feel a story coming here.
Oh my goodness, I've got so many stories, but this one's actually a little bit funny. So someone that I used to be in business with went to a business conference, and this was back, I would say around maybe around 2007, 2008, I'm thinking. Was right at the beginning of social media. And this conference, typical pitch fest where you'd have a speaker that would pitch and people would run to the back of the room. Like, we all know what those kind of conferences are. But someone was charging or pitching a $10,000 package to have a one-page website and your Facebook page set up. $10,000. Do you know how many people ran to the back of the room? And I'm just like, what? That's insane. And that's exactly right. If you don't know, you can get caught out. I know people that have paid freelancers $200 to have a metapixel installed on their site. That's a $5 job. It is so fast. It is so easy. I don't recommend doing something like that yourself. You can go to YouTube, but it's such a quick and easy thing. Just pay someone $5 to do it, who's an expert and knows exactly where to go in your website and just whack it in there or into your CRM and pop it in there. So if you don't know what's involved, it's very easy to get the wool pulled over your eyes. And especially on something like Upwork, those freelancers can smell a newbie a mile away. That if you don't ask the right questions and they start asking you questions, they start to notice how you respond and they're like, whoa, we got a live one here. and they will charge phenomenal amounts because they can and because you don't know any different.
Yep.
So if you don't know what you're asking for, you can really, really have your wallet emptied.
Yeah. Well, that probably brings us to the next point, which is when you do get those jobs done, do you know if you're actually getting what you need or what you paid for exactly, or is it adding quality?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. We know someone just recently who paid to have a sales page done by a sales page expert. Highly was behind this person to get that done because a sales page is a very, it's a very specific thing, the way the copy needs to read, the way that it needs to be designed. There is so much expertise in this. I can help people do this, but sometimes for speed, it's well, if this person's an expert, go get it done.
And we do say that as well. If you
100%.
want to move at speed, you do need
you need
help.
people to help to do that, right? The problem is that this sales page came back, can this be reviewed? And I looked at it and went, oh, you can't run with this. The copy was not written correctly for a sales page. There was no compelling headline. There was so many things wrong with it. The design of the sales page wasn't correct for best practice. So if you don't know, you would just think, oh, wow, that looks great. And you would pay for it. And then you would be like, what is wrong with me? Because I can't get this page to convert.
Yeah.
When in actual fact, it's nothing wrong, nothing that you're doing wrong. At that point, the sales page isn't going to convert because it's a bad sales page.
Yeah. But you can imagine if you brought people through your sales pipeline and you spent time doing the marketing and, the Facebook ads and the organic outreach and the commenting and all the bits and pieces you got to do, and then they get to the very last point to the sales page and then it doesn't convert.
Well, let's imagine, right, that this sales page, someone was really, really, really good at ads and they dialed in their ads so they were getting awesome, click through, they were getting to the right people, but then they weren't converting. That person might think there's something wrong with their ads. Like, there are so many things that could be going wrong in this process. However, your ads would start to not work, can I just say? Because your sales page wasn't converting, and Meta would be going, I don't know, what's going on here? So I just want to say that. But, if you don't understand what you're looking at, you may not necessarily understand, or you probably won't understand what's happening. And then if you don't understand what's happening, how do you know what to fix?
Yep.
And then all of a sudden, you could be going around in circles for years just going, what is wrong with me? And I can't do this anymore and I'm going to quit.
Yeah. So, and the last thing is you still need to spend time on it. So it's not like you can just click a button and go off to the agency and it's done. You still need to go in and check and look and review.
Yeah, there's still meetings to get it set up. There's still the review process. There is still, most of the time, you need to provide us with copy for whatever it is, or you need to provide us with assets. There's still time involved. It's not like totally hands off the wheel.
Yeah.
This is just going to magically appear.
Yeah.
And I think that frustrates a lot of people as well.
Yeah. Unless you want something totally generic, it doesn't convert, et cetera.
Yeah.
Or doesn't do the job, or looks ugly, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So
actually, there's something else that I know that I didn't put there in the notes that I really do want to touch on really quickly. And that is that no one else knows your business as well as you know your business. And I'm a big believer of this, especially in anything to do with marketing. You know your ideal clients better than anyone else. You're able to talk about their 2 a.m. problems better than anyone else. You understand the nuances in your business more than anyone else. That's why I'm a big believer, and that's what we're going to talk about next, in that you need to have some sort of education behind what you're doing. Yeah, so I guess it really is that simple. You know your business better than anyone else.
Yeah. Cool. So quick recap on the done for you. So, pros, you can tap into someone else's experience, which is awesome. And you don't have to do the implementing, which is also amazing. Buy back your time.
Yeah.
Cons, you won't know how much to invest because you not necessarily going to know what to do.
Yes. Or you may not. You may not. Yeah.
You may do, but you may not.
Yeah.
The quality of work return to me was a big deal.
Yes.
I find that I don't get what I necessarily expect a lot of the time.
Yeah.
What we get, and I see that a lot. That's
Yeah.
And then you still need to spend time on it.
Yes.
So that's the pros and the cons of
of done for you.
Yeah. Coaching.
Let's go. Yeah. Let's dive into this, because I think one of the biggest things when AI came around, and everyone was shouting from the rooftops, "Oh, the coaching's going to be dead." What a load of BS! Because coaching isn't about knowing the knowledge. Coaching is about being able to transfer that knowledge into something else. It's about the transformation. It's about the community. It's about having someone that has got the understanding of nuance. Okay, so the coaching industry isn't dead. In actual fact, I think that good coaches are going to do even better.
Yeah.
However, that's not what we're here talking about. That was one of my side quests.
Side quest. Should we do pros or cons first?
Let's do cons first. Let's get the cons out of the way. I think the first one for coaching is that with coaching, you're going to get the knowledge and the learning, but it still needs to be implemented. So whether that's yourself, or whether you hire someone else to do that, or whether you find a freelancer, it still needs to be actually done, implemented, put into play. And I think that's probably one of the biggest thoughts that people have when they're at, especially in the messy middle at the scaling stage, is which way do we go? Because we're already out of time. So we'll just,
Yeah. I think that's actually, when you talk about like cons of coaching, that's probably is one of the biggest things. If you only had X amount to invest, and hopefully that's probably not where you should be, only having just enough to invest, because to go fast, you need to invest more money into things. So, which is, this is a bit of a tricky one, because the cons of coaching is it needs someone to help you implement and put it in, because you will learn how to do these things yourself. But you also need to know, and this is where your coach comes in, I suppose, and to know what you can actually do yourself and what you need to actually farm out.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
And probably by knowing though, all right, we'll get to some pros in a second. And this probably is one of the pros, is that you understand what you're investing
Well,
in.
thanks for going off script there,
I know,
Leon.
right?
All right, let's go back to the comms, shall we?
Right.
Oh, my goodness gracious me. I was just about to say I need to put a leash on you, but someone could really take that the wrong way.
Yes. Did someone say squirrel? Anyway. What else do you see as another kind of coaching?
I think that it can be tricky to understand which coach to hire because if you hire someone that is really good at marketing, but that's what you actually need is someone that's really good at systems, for example, it can slow you down. So I think understanding exactly what outcomes you need at what time and who is the best coach for not only what you need, but at the stage that you're at as well is really imperative. And I see a lot of times people making the decision to invest in a coach, hiring the wrong coach. And by that, I don't mean necessarily that coach isn't good, but it's not the right, they're not getting what they need at the right time. And then what happens is that then they say, oh, that coach is no good, which may not necessarily be the truth.
Yeah.
It just might be that coach isn't in their wheelhouse.
Yeah. Well, I like what you said there about there might be a good coach, but it might not be I suppose, at the right time for that person.
Yes.
I think that's a really important thing to note, because there is times where you may outgrow your coach.
Yeah.
Or you may be looking for a different kind of coach that gives you what you need. The other thing is that I think the biggest thing I found was that if you had someone that had walked that path before you and they've been there, is a really big deal.
Yeah.
So I know for you, for example, you've run the multi-business setup, with, you had like dance shops plus
dance studios,
yeah.
a wellness center, personal
I don't get
training.
online part of that too, where it's online deliveries. And you've been there, seen it, and done those things, and now you've also walked the online part of it too. So I think, just going to talk you up here because I'm like super proud of you, and I think that gives you a really good overall vision of what's going on. Because sometimes I find that you get told to do something, do X, the coach says do X, and then you realize that that's where they're at and not where you're at.
Yeah, absolutely. So this actually happened on a call I was on earlier this year, where I had a call with someone that was working with another coach. And she said, so my coach told me to do X, Y, Z. Now, we'd been on the phone for about 5 minutes, so I had a really basic understanding of her business, but straight away I knew that was wrong for where she was at. And so I just asked sort of 3 or 4 quick questions and went, okay, so this is what I can see that's not going to work because of X, Y, Z, and this would be a better strategy for where you're at right now. I'm not saying that what this coach has told you is wrong. It's just wrong for where you're at. Mm-hmm. And she went, I'm so glad you said that, because I had that feeling all along, and I can tell that I'm in a bit different phase of my business than what my coach is. So that coach was really, really good for startups. She was really good for startups, but because she hadn't quite got out of that phase herself, she didn't understand the nuance of the next stage, so was still trying to apply startup strategy and tactics to an operator stage person. Because this person was just hitting operator stage.
Because what gets you here won't get you
there.
That's
exactly right. And I'm like, that's going to keep you really stuck. So you need to make sure that you've got the right coach for the right stage and for the right things in your business.
Yeah. Cool. Can we get a pros now? Is that right?
Yeah, pros, absolutely. Because I'm a big believer in coaching. Like, I love this industry. I love coaching. I love being coached. I love being in coaching programs. I love having a coach. You and I have got multiple coaches. We've had multiple coaches for almost 20 years now, actually over 20 years, for so many different parts of our business, from, marketing and partnerships to mindset and, different specifics. Like we've had so many coaches for meta ads because that's always changing. We've got coaches for wealth creation and building and investing. We've got coaches for health, for fitness. Like I'm a big believer of speed. I love to always be the best that I can be. I love to be always, I guess, I mentioned it last episode, I'm really competitive with myself. So I'm like, how can I do this better? How can I do this faster? And I love to be in coaching communities and being around like-minded people that are on the same journey as me. So, I'm a big believer in coaching.
I think one of the big things as well is you talk about going faster and knowledge. So, yes, Done For You can give you access to knowledge, specific knowledge, but when you're in a program, and particularly group one, you get the combined mind of the network of that program as well.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of things I know, someone asks a question, but like 10 other people go, oh yeah, I was wondering that as well,
Yes.
So there's a lot of, the knowledge comes from there, which gives you speed, but also, when you don't know what you don't know, but lots of knows in there. You might not realize yet what you need.
You don't know what you don't know.
Yep.
The other thing is that if you're in the right group, that there's going to be a whole group of other really smart people. So it's not just the coaches that you're leaning on. It's like the brains trust of the entire group.
Yeah, yeah. So that's what I suppose that part of, you have the support network to make decisions faster as well, because you have someone to bounce or someone to work with. Like the knowledge and experience from the combined group is huge.
Yeah.
Something that we did talk about before was how much money we spent on some particular things that didn't quite go to plan. But having the coaching so that you understand the ROI of what you're investing as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I think that's one of the biggest pros, that if you learn to fish, you'll never go hungry.
Yeah.
Right? And that's why I'm a big believer in coaching, because if you're able to write your own marketing, if you're able to understand what's a good sales page, if you're able to understand, I need a metapixel, I need to get this funnel up fast, I need this, you're not leaning on other people to say, hey, what do I need? And then a million questions coming at you with like, okay, well, let's, get the lay of the land. What are you trying to achieve? Like, you already know that. So you're able to hit speed a lot faster because you know what it is that you're doing. You have an understanding of how it all comes together.
Yeah, yeah. One thing that I touched on ROI before. I know that I'll talk about my family now. My family, for some reason, doesn't understand the value of coaching, which is just ridiculous. But anyway, I think you cannot underestimate the value of the coaching. What you invest in it and what you get back is 10, 20-fold. And it's huge. And also it's forever. You're learning from everyone in that, and the coach, and you have that knowledge forever. So what you're learning and moving forward with, it stays with you.
Yeah. And I think, actually, I don't think I know, we have bought into so many courses and coaching programs, so many, like, oh my God, it's hundreds and hundreds of them. There are some that we didn't feel like we got the return from them. However, I'm going to rephrase this because this is what I learned really early. We didn't get the return that we thought we were going to get, but we always got something. There is a couple of coaching programs that we've done where we didn't feel valued as a client. We didn't feel like we were getting the support that we were paying for, while, typical, I'm going to be a coach and go down the beach and that's really great for you, but I'm paying and I need some help, that kind of thing, right? I think most of us have been in that situation at some point or another. That is actually what's helped us to build our systems. How do we support our clients in the best way possible so that they get the answer they need? That's why we have 3 coaching calls a week, not 1. That's why we have Q&A calls. That's why we have teaching. That's why we have modules. That's why we have a school community where people can ask questions. We review work for our clients every single day. Every afternoon we go in, what landing pages, what, ads need to be reviewed, what images, what worksheets, whatever it is, we do that every day. We have the SAM bot. So we've got we've built an AI bot that has been fed with like 15 years of IP, of our podcasts, of our teaching, of our, every workshop that we've ever run, all of our worksheets, so that people can get an answer. It doesn't replace me, but if they're crazy enough to be working on something at 1 a.m. and I'm in bed asleep, they can get an answer to at least keep working until they get to a real person the next day. I don't think that we would have built our program in the way that we have if we hadn't have had those experiences. So what I'm trying to say is that we have got a return from every single coach and program. It might just not be what we thought it was going to be at the beginning.
Yeah. I just want to throw this one at you.
Yeah. I'm ready. Ready to catch it.
If someone had to decide,
yeah.
Now I don't think that's probably the right way to go about it, because I feel like you need a bit of both. But anyway, if you had to make a choice, how would you choose?
Okay, this isn't just a very, very straight answer, right? Because it really depends on where you're at in your business. So if you are at a point where you need, you've got a big project that you want to do, and you need to move super, super, super quick on it, but you're over everything else in your business, then what I would probably do at that time is choose a done for you. I would never choose a done for you without having had previous coaching or being in a coaching program, because you haven't got the support of someone that helps you to understand. If you're at a point where you're super, super busy and you've got some projects to get off your plate, 100% I would get done for you to get that done. So if you are definitely at the scaling, if you're at the scaling stage and you've got some projects that you want done, then I would find someone. I would find an implementer, because if you're at the scale stage, you don't have more hours. However, if you're in a position where you're unsure of your messaging, if you're unsure of what's going wrong, if you're unsure of different parts of your business, I would get help from a coach first to get that sorted out before you pay someone else. Back when I very, very was first, like day 1 of my mastermind, or, it was actually probably like day -10, sort of, when I was like, okay, I'm doing this thing. I hired an agency that I had access to VAs for certain tasks. So it was like a concierge service. I wasn't hiring a full-time VA, so I didn't have the worry of knowing that I needed to make payroll each week. I paid a monthly fee and I had a certain access to web people, I can't remember what else anyway. Implementers, let's call them. And they implemented for small tasks. That was perfect for me at the time, because I was like, I needed my CRM set up. I needed some images created, for example, for marketing. I needed some emails sent out, and I needed a Facebook pixel on my website. They were kind of one-off tasks that would slow me down if I learnt how to do them. Like, I never was going to need to put a Facebook pixel on my website again. Yep. Or if I did, it was going to cost me not much. So why would I waste a day searching on YouTube for how to do that, right? So it works at that stage for small tasks. However, alongside that, I hired a coach at the same time, okay? Yep. Because I needed to understand how to get my head around the bigger things. So it was hire someone to do the little tasks and hire someone the coach to help me get the whole, I guess, the momentum of pushing the boulder. Back in those early days, I decided to do a launch. And I remember I was working on my sales page. I was out in the balcony on a Saturday afternoon, and I was struggling at the time with a specific page builder. And I just whacked it up on Facebook. Does anyone know how to use, I'm not going to say it because
Don't need to.
I don't need to. Someone came back and went, absolutely can help you. Now, what I actually needed was just help with getting some things built on that sales page. What ended up happening was jumping on a sales call with this person and them talking me into, how about we do that? We've built out your whole funnel. We do your Facebook ads. And at the time, because I was trying to move fast, I was like, yeah, all right, let's do that. I invested a large sum of money. I invested 5 figures in getting that up and running of savings at that time, because it was quite early in my coaching journey. And the page didn't convert. The ads didn't convert because we weren't super clear in the ads on who the ideal client was, what their 2 a.m. problems. The copywriting was terrible. The images that they used were not aligned with my ideal client. And because I was still early in that coaching space, I hadn't seen those problems come. So I should have chosen a freelancer just to do the little thing and worked with my coach to get my messaging right. So I know that I haven't given it's 100% this or that, but it's at the beginning of your journey, hire people to do small tasks to get you to move faster and have a coach. Later on in your journey, also, I believe you need a coach because you're heading into territory that you haven't been in before if you're growing and scaling. Also, things are changing really fast, so you need that help with bouncing ideas, but you will also need implementers at that stage. So, hire the agency that's going to take big projects off your plate. I'm still not a fan of Facebook ad agencies. I honestly think that everyone should run their own Facebook ads.
Yeah.
I'm willing to die on that hill. And I know that there are people that are going to come out and say, don't agree with you, but I think you should be doing your own marketing, your own paid marketing.
Yeah. So I think that question I asked you was really, I'm not quite sure how to say it, but there's no easy way to answer that because everyone has their own journey. They're at a different point. So if you're thinking about trying to choose one or the other, I think that you really need to consider where you are, because if you're still in the startup phase, you don't want to go and spend crap tons of money on a particular agency to do one task when you know that that's going to be, taking all your funds up, for example. So it's not an easy answer. But I will say that I feel like the value of coaching over anything else will get you to most places.
I think the value of coaching, when you get the right coach, is 100% the way to go, because your return on investment and the ability for you to have that knowledge then in your business forever is like out of this world.
Yeah. So, and like that knowledge, that community of knowledge that you have,
the brains
trust, that is super important, because what is it? How many ways to skin a cat, or whatever it is?
It's a horrible saying, isn't it?
Why are we skinning cats?
Yeah, and also like what the task, you just like an elephant. How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. Why have we got these horrible things about being mean to animals?
Who's eating the elephant?
It's like, oh no, don't do that to the elephant or the cat. Like,
why couldn't it be a cake?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, how do you eat a cake? One bite at a time. Why is it an elephant?
Yeah,
like give me the cake.
Well, I could say about the cat thing. I could know how many ways can you cut a cake? Because it's not.
Oh, okay. Okay, we're on the cake wagon.
So, what would you say about someone that wanted help making that decision of what to go for, though?
I think that you need to ask the right person. Jump on a call with us. We're quite happy to talk through where you are and what is the best next step for you. We are definitely not the people that will sign everyone up into our program, because our program is not the right place for everyone. And something that I have always done is and that sits in my values is making sure that people are looked after. Right back in our dance shop days, we had lots of customers that would come in and ask us to check their children's shoes, whether they fit or whether they didn't fit, because it's really hard. It's weird, but it's hard to tell with a dance shoe. It's not like a normal shoe. So we would check and we would say, hey, look, we think you can get another 3 months out of this, or absolutely, like, you'll get another, you'll get the rest of this year out of these. Don't come back to us till after the Christmas holidays, or your kid's not going to be able to dance in these. They need new shoes like today, kind of thing. And our customers trusted that we would give them the right answer. And guess what happened? When they needed new shoes, they came back to us.
Yeah.
And there was another store that was in the same city as us. They weren't local. They were in the same city, that would always say, no, they need new shoes. Well, the word gets around, right?
Yeah.
Actually, you can't trust that person. So I've always stood by that. Like, I want people to get the help they need. I'm really passionate about helping people to build profitable businesses, make money, get their life back so that they can, go and do the things in their life they want to live. That's why we do this, right? To live awesome lives.
Yeah.
This is just the vehicle. And to do that, people need different things at different times. And there's a lot of nuance and there's a lot of questions to be asked. So please reach out, have a call. We're quite happy to help steer you in the right direction of who you need to see, what you need to do, what we think would be the best next step for you. So hopefully that's a little bit helpful with where we stand for on done for you and coaching. I guess the answer is you need both. It's just at different times. I'm a big believer that coaching is a all the time thing.
Yep.
Like, what is Cookie Monster? Like, cookies are a sometimes food. I think coaches are an all the time food. And I think implementers are an all the time food. I think they're both an all the time food. It's just...
Yeah, well, I think cookies are all the time food as well. But anyway.
Let's leave it right there. Thanks for joining us for another episode of Business Growth Lab. It's been great to hang out with you here. We'll see you all next Tuesday for another episode.